What is up everyone, Dimitri2 here and welcome back to another video. In this video I'll be going over my current Zephyr build, one that I've experimented with over a few hundred hours of gameplay and the one that I'm currently very satisfied with. Most Zephyr builds tend to build her for her third ability, Turbulence, and mine is no different really. Whilst their other abilities have some uses here and there, they're not really all that reliable or useful to build on for their own, and I use them only in a few specific situations really. Zephyr's Turbulence ability provides her with a shield around her that deflects projectile weapons and changes the trajectory of hit scan weapons. This leaves Zephyr still vulnerable to a few things however, namely melee attacks and area of effect attacks, so do keep that in mind. It usually takes people quite a while to get used to Zephyr, both because of her reduced gravity passive and the fact that her Turbulence ability does not protect you from everything. On to the most important part of the video then, the build itself. For the aura, run whichever you prefer. I'd recommend Corrosive Projection almost always, just because of how broken the system armor scaling is in this game. If you do not have Arcane Energize or Sonuric, run Energy Siphon instead. If you prefer to run anything else however, feel free to do so of course. The first mod that we put in, and the most important one by far, is Jetstream. Jetstream is an augment mod for Turbulence that adds extra movement speed and projectile speed for Zephyr and nearby allies. You just straight up want this, period. After that however, we're gonna slot in a rank 6 narrow-minded and a primed continuity. Zephyr's Turbulence benefits a lot from duration, and the more you have the better. The rank 6 narrow-minded is actually very important, so make sure to keep it at this level. The reason for this is that if you have less than around 55% range, enemies will be able to move inside of your hitbox and shoot you, usually resulting in immediate death. This might not sound too important, but it happens a lot more often than you'd actually think, so make sure to keep at least 55% range available to you. If you do not possess primed continuity, just swap it out with a normal continuity of course, or maybe if you have a constitution instead. That's up to you though. After that we slot in a primed flow because of more energy, and more energy is always a good thing because it allows you to stock up on extra cast for Turbulence. Next up is Vitality for a bit of extra health. And after that again, we put in a Blind Rage for the extra power strength it gives. Power strength is actually really important on Zephyr because it increases the movement speed and projectile speed you get from the Jetstream augment mod. While the exact amount of speed you want might differ a bit from me, at the very least a maxed out Blind Rage will help you out and get you to the necessary amount of movement speed and projectile speed so that you can actually feel the difference. Finally, in the augment slot, I put in a Handspring to help deal with the obnoxious amount of knockdown spam in this game. Once again, it's personal preference. If you really feel like putting anything else in here, go ahead. This is just my suggestion though. Now there are still 2 open slots left in the build, and this is where it comes down to preference and what you have available to you. The other 2 mods that I personally use are Quick Thinking and Transient Fortitude. However, before you just slap in these 2 mods and call it a day, there are a few things you should know. The first question that decides the rest of your build is, do I have an Arcane Energize set or do I have Sonuric? If you have an Arcane Energize set or a Sonuric passive, you will usually have more than enough energy to cast Turbulence whenever you want really, and at that point I'd recommend using Quick Thinking. If you do not possess one of the 2 however, you'll be using almost all of your energy towards keeping up your Turbulence casts, in which case slot in a Streamline or a Fleeting Expertise to reduce the energy cost of your ability. That is one of your 2 slots decided. The choice for your second mod is going to be either Transient Fortitude or Energy Conversion. Both of them increase your power strength by a good amount, 55% and 50% respectively, but do it in different ways. Transient Fortitude always increases your power strength at the cost of a bit of duration. This will knock your Turbulence down from 44 seconds to 38 seconds. Energy Conversion on the other hand is a mod that increases your power strength by 50% whenever you pick up an energy orb, but only for the next ability cast. The difference between the 2 is that Transient Fortitude is a bit more consistent and allows you to use your other abilities a bit more on the side without having to pay attention to constantly picking up energy orbs for the conversion proc. Energy Conversion on the other hand gives you a bit more duration on your Turbulence casts. I personally prefer the more consistent version, and losing 6 seconds of duration in my Turbulence is not that much of a problem for me, so I settle for Transient Fortitude. Now on to the gameplay. A few things to keep in mind are the previously mentioned melee and AoE attacks. You want to avoid standing still, since Zephyr without her Turbulence ability is made of paper and will die very easily. If you can, stay up in the air as much as possible, as this will prevent you from being hit by melee attacks. Going up into the air also helps you avoid things like bombard missiles and napalm AoEs, 2 of the biggest causes of Zephyr deaths. though it still won't be able to save you always, but at least it's something. Finally, keep an eye out on your turbulence timer. When you start out, you'll find yourself misjudging the remaining time on turbulence and find yourself without a shield to protect you, usually leading to near instant death. Another handy tip is that you can recast turbulence in a mid-air glide, saving you some pain. Zephyr is a frame that, in my opinion, requires a lot of playtime to get used to. Her reduced gravity passive can be annoying at first, as you have to relearn how to navigate most of the tilesets swiftly without getting stuck on walls and doors all the time. The fact that her turbulence also does not protect her from melee attacks and AoEs, combined with her innate squishiness of only 15 armor, you can start to see why she's a very unpopular frame. However, if you can get past all of that, you'll find a frame that feels absolutely amazing to use. The movement speed helps you navigate tilesets quickly, the projectile speeds make so many weapons more fun to use or usable in general, and the reduced gravity feels really fun to use in combination with a lot of other weapons. In the end, I hope that this build will give you a solid basis to start learning Zephyr with. And if you have any further questions, don't be afraid to drop in my Twitch chat or my Discord and ask any questions you might have. I'm both a Twitch partner and a Discord partner, and you can find me streaming most days on twitch.tv/DimitriV2. As always, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, peace.